Hogwarts Legacy is not transphobic, but there is a twist that I'll explain later on in this video. Hogwarts Legacy is a game that everybody's been anticipating because it takes place within the Wizarding World, basically a free roaming RPG where you get to explore the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. The game has received huge hype because of the fact of it's a RPG in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. However, there have been a select few people that I think aren't the brightest people in the world that are just like,
we should boycott this game, this once-in-a-lifetime game that we've always wanted since our childhood.
Because J.K. Rowling is transphobic. Alright. Aside from the fact that this is a pretty horrible tank, I will explain why this is not homophobic and we are not supporting J.K. Rowling. And lastly, who cares? First off, let's talk about it. What is homophobia? Well, homophobia refers to an irrational fear of and hatred of individuals who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, LGBT. It is a harmful, discriminatory attitude that has no place in any form of media, including video games. But to be clear, Hogwarts Legacy shows no signs of homophobia or transphobia or anything like that. In fact, the Harry Potter franchise is super inclusive. It welcomes everyone from all races and all genders and tells them that you can be a wizard too. You can go down to your shop in the Wizarding World and buy yourself a wand and start shooting spells like Expelliarmus or Wingardium Leviosa. Yeah, I know that too. Especially mind-boggling when they release a game like this that everybody is so up in arms about this game. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And let's say even if there was any claim to J.K. Rowling being homophobic and transphobic, which there isn't. I know on Twitter she's tweeting, she's just going insane on Twitter, posting crazy things left, right, and center. Someone like she wrote at white Hermione is now black. It's what I don't know, but it should show that she is honestly crazy about representation. So I don't understand where this whole thing is coming from, but we have to understand, okay, back on track. We have to understand a concept called death of the author, okay? It means that after the author has published their works, their original hold on what the meaning of their book should be is dead. You can use death of the author to come away with your own interpretation of the story, regardless of what the author wants you to think, because the story is impacting you. The product is impacting you. You don't have to relate to or associate yourself with the beliefs of the author. The Harry Potter series, which Rowling created, has become one of the most beloved and widely read franchises in the world. The books and films have inspired millions of people and have been credited with promoting values such as friendship, bravery, and inclusiveness. The world of Harry Potter is a place where individuals of all races, religions, and sexual orientations, and where love and kindness conquer everything. So regardless of J.K. Rowling's personal beliefs, because I know that this whole thing comes from a bunch of tweets that she made that were interpreted as her being homophobic and transphobic, all right? I get that, but at the same time, this series is read by millions of people. The project is not hers anymore. It's everyone's. It's everyone who read Harry Potter. It's everyone who loves the franchise. And I believe that much like how we separate, Chris Benoit's technical wrestling aspect and how he's constantly raced from WWE, but his work still lives up to this day, and we separate it from the personal tragedy that he inflicted upon his family by murdering his wife and child, you can separate the two aspects. You don't have to mention Chris Benoit over again. You don't have to promote him, but his work, whenever you see him on screen, is always good, and you can always be like, man, that was a great wrestling match. Chris Benoit was a good worker, but a terrible human being. Don't get me wrong, we should always hold people responsible for the things they say. J.K. Rowling is not the Harry Potter franchise. She has created it, but you can separate it from her. I get the two things twisted, and let's not care about J.K. Rowling. We haven't cared about her in a very, very long time. Honestly, now she makes mediocre products, and this Hogwarts Legacy game is probably going to be the best thing she's ever released in probably a decade. To mention that the fact that J.K. Rowling is an ally of the LGBT. J.K. Rowling, well, she is the author of the Harry Potter books and has been a strong advocate for LGBT rights, and has publicly stated that she supports rights of all people, including those who identify as LGBT. This inclusive and accepting attitude is reflected in the Harry Potter universe, where all individuals, no matter the sexual orientation or race, are welcomed and accepted. No credible reason to say, oh, she's anti-LGBT, let's boycott this game. Oh, she supports LGBT rights. She supports everyone. She wants everyone to be a part of the wizarding world of Harry Potter because it lines up with their pockets and she makes more money. That's how capitalism works, people. So that's why you shouldn't cancel this game or boycott it because it is quote unquote LGBT. Doesn't make sense, people. Come on, use your brains, okay? Plus, do you know what happens if you're anti-LGBT or transphobic these days? You get canceled. You lose literally everything. Take a look at Kanye. He spouted some of the worst takes in history. But guess what? He lost his partnership with Adidas and lost half of his wealth. He's no longer a billionaire. He's like a 500 millionaire. That's it. And J.K. Rowling isn't a billionaire. She's not Kanye. She's not making that much. She's not making as much as Kanye. So she's not risking her brand by being anti-LGBT. Unless I can be very, very certain. Same as the studios. If they found out that she was anti-LGBT, do you know how quickly she would lose all of her rights? Do you know how quickly she would be canceled? Do you know how quickly companies would stop working with her? Take a look at Kanye, okay? Just take a look at Kanye. Remember all that stuff Kanye went through. It's also worth noting that video games are highly regulated and must abide by strict guidelines and regulations set forth by various organizations, including the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB, and the International Game Developers Association, IGDA. These organizations ensure that no matter what, there's not going to be any racist or transphobic or homophobic anything in the games because they want to make as much money as possible, and these days being any of that is not only morally irresponsible, but also you lose credibility with your brand. Let me say that again. You lose credibility with your brand. If you're anything like that, you lose people who are going to potentially be a part of your potential audience. So it wouldn't make sense for companies to be anti-LGBT. So hopefully that shuts down the fact that Hogwarts Legacy is homophobic, because that claim is without evidence and appears to be mainly baseless. The Harry Potter franchise has a history of being inclusive and accepting of all people, regardless of their sexual orientation, and there is no credible evidence or information indicating that the game is homophobic. Until such evidence is released, it is important to reserve judgment and not label the game as homophobic.